Hello friends! Welcome back to our Mythical Creatures of the United States week. Yesterday we learned about Sasquatch and we made these fun little folders where we can write a story if we want. We can keep it in there and then the front of it will light up when we want it to. And we have all these different cutouts that you guys could have used to make it. And we're doing the same sort of thing today with a new creature, the lava bear, and we'll get to learn some fun things. So we've got some bear claws and a picture of a lava bear and a volcano that you can then, we'll wire this up together on our template. You can make your little folder and it will become a great little arts and crafts project, a writing project, a reading project. It's like the all-in-one project. And I know Georgia had a really good time making her folder yesterday, which is amazing. I love it when we all have a good time. And I wanted to show you guys what we're gonna make next week. Next week we're doing Pokemon. I haven't finished all 5 of them yet, but we have Charmander with the tail that lights up. And this one's my favorite. I love this one. It's little Pikachu! And Pikachu's cheeks light up, which is super cute. And we have a Pokeball that we have going on. And then we're gonna do this guy, Blastoise. But I haven't done the art on him yet, so I am waiting to wire it up. But this one will be able to shoot independent of each other. So I'm really excited about that. That will be our Thursday challenge project for next week. So that is coming up. And then we'll see what the rest of our summer looks like. And then I know that we will be here in September. And I know that Kaya wants to do weather. I know that Johnny wants to do Indiana Jones. And if you have some sort of weekly theme that you would like to do, you can always let us know. You can either email us or you can put it in the comments and we will try to get that into our programming for you guys so that you guys have fun. All right, I'm going to tell you what you guys need for today and we'll get to our shout out. So if you want a hello, make sure that you type your name in the chat box. And if we don't have anybody here today, that's totally fine because we have some shout outs that we still have to get through for friends who come in the afternoons. All right, so for today, you need our printouts, our templates. We have their 2 pages all week, so you want to print out both pages because this sort of gives you the arts and crafts part where you can cut things out and put them on your cover. And then this will make our template with the LED and our folder that we can store our story in, which is awesome. So you need those guys. You need some scissors so that we can make a few cuts. You need something to poke holes in your paper if you want your LED to come out. So I have a little metal piece that makes a really good hole in the paper to start it. And then I just use a piece of sharpened wood to expand that hole a little bit bigger. You need some batteries to power your paper circuit. We use CR2032 batteries. They are 3 volts. That's really important. If you cannot find the CR2032, you could look at other coin cell batteries. So coin cells look like coins. That's where they get their names from. And you just want to make sure that they are also 3 volts, all right? The bigger or the thicker they are, the longer they'll last. The smaller or thinner they are, it means they don't have as many chemicals to drive those little electrons through the circuit, which means it won't last as long. But for lighting the LEDs, we do need 3 volts. That's really important. Then we need an LED. All right, so I have a pack of different types of LEDs. I even have some rainbow ones in here with the whites. I love having the choices. So if you don't have your paper circuit stuff, getting a little kit like this is always a great idea. So you have all of the stuff. It's pretty organized and it's very handy. Although you have to buy the rainbow ones separate. Then we need some copper tape. So this is a metallic tape. It's very shiny on it. Usually it's used to get slugs out of your garden, so you can find it at your garden store. There is aluminum tape, and it will also be really shiny. So not duct tape that can look silvery, but aluminum tape that's shiny. And if you don't have either of those types of tapes, you can always use aluminum foil. All right, you would just have to cut little strips of aluminum foil and be really careful about the way you put it down. And then we need a non-conductive tape that will split up the highways for our electrons, which is a masking tape, a scotch tape, electrical tape, duct tape, washi tape. Any of those papery or plasticky tapes will work really well as our non-conducting tapes, and that helps us sort of separate the roadways for our electrons to go on. And I think that's it that we need. We have our glue gun out and we have our paint brushes out, but that's just to sort of put all of this together And you can use tape to put it together if you want to. I'm just a huge fan of the glue gun. It's my favorite tool in our little science arsenal. So if you're gonna be joining us in September, you should definitely grab a glue gun because we will be using glue guns a lot. All right, let's see if we have anybody who showed up. I know it's early on what is it today? Tuesday morning?
Tuesday morning, late August, early August.
I know, we got kids going back to school, which is exciting.
Exciting.
I know.
Scary. We have Naomi.
Hello, Naomi. I'm so glad you're with us. Naomi made an awesome Sasquatch project yesterday. It was amazing. I hope did the picture make it in the pre-show?
It should have.
Oh, good. It was a good one, Naomi. We loved it. It looks fantastic.
We have
awesome.
Hassan.
Hey, Hassan. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. It's been a few days. Yay. Hassan was the person who made us think about using aluminum foil. So all of our friends out there who don't have the copper or aluminum tape who are trying with aluminum foil, Hassan he's the reason we had that idea.
I like it.
I know, I'm pretty happy about that.
That's who we have for the morning
awesome.
sellouts.
Well, we will say hello to Rohan and Venetia and Kaya and Zoe and Brody and Chase. I think that's... And Mimi and Johnny and Ellie. We need a long list of our friends who come in the afternoon. Oh. But hello to all of our afternoon friends. And we will get ourselves ready to go on making this. Georgia, question?
It's not a question, but I want to say this. If this happens to you, I would keep the paper.
Yes, we can talk about what we do when our copper tape doesn't come off the way that we think it will, because it doesn't always do that. All right, so the first thing we are going to do on our template is we are going to cut on this long black line and fold on these dotted lines. First, I'm going to cut going up on this long black line. And then I'm actually going to show you guys something that we learned that worked a little bit better yesterday. So if I cut up here, we learned yesterday that our folders fold a little better if I actually cut a little extra out of each side. So if I were to make 3 snips really, and cut like a nice fat rectangle out, where that center line is that black line that came down the center. So then I can now cut this across. It's hard to do, holding it straight up. I'm gonna get that a little better, hang on. So now I have sort of like pants. It kind of reminds me of pants. This makes it so that when we fold everything, it folds much more nicely and flat. So I would suggest doing that. You can cut just on that one black line and it will fold up. It's just, this works a little bit better. I'm just gonna make sure I get all this little bit out right here. There we go. And then we do want to fold everything. So we're going to fold it in half. And that sort of folds our folder piece. And then we're going to fold the other 2 pieces going up. So this one folds just straight up all the way in half. And that hides our circuit so that when you open up your little book about the lava bear, you won't actually see a circuit. It makes it a little bit even more magical. This side is going to become our little pocket that can hold your story in. All right, so we're gonna make this little pocket, and the way that we do that is there's first a fold line down here. So you might see this dotted line here. So you're gonna fold it up to the halfway point, and that will fold it on your dotted line, just like that. And then you're gonna fold it up again. So we're gonna fold it up one more time. We'll roll fold that, just like that. And now we have a folder piece that we can stick our story in. We'll tape this all up. I'll show you how we can do that later. And then we'll also have a back cover piece that hides it, which is really handy. And then this will all fold up like that into our little folder. I have a little gunkies over here from when we cut those pants, and you can just take your scissors and snip that straight right now if you would like to. And then the other thing that you should choose is if you want your LED to go through the paper. So that's what I did for Sasquatch. My LED goes through the paper and it sort of backlights my Sasquatch, which I really like. I glued the Sasquatch over the top of the LED, but that LED is coming through the paper, which gives you a nice little glow. if you want to do that, you're going to want to poke a hole in there. Please wait, Georgia. All right, so we're going to poke a hole, and I'm going to poke a hole because that's how I want to do it. So we're going to poke, I'm going to get it started with just my little metal piece, which is really strong, and that helps you sort of not bend your paper all over the place. And then what you can do is you can stick a pencil or a piece of wood through to widen that hole and make it a little bit bigger. All right, Georgia is ahead of us. She's already wired up. What do you got, Georgia?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's lighting up on this? What
Ooh.
lights up?
Georgia's got a great question. What is going to light up on this? And that's really up to you guys what you want to light up. Maybe you want to light up the volcano because the volcano is going to make the lava for the lava bear.
Maybe you want to light up here.
Maybe you want to light up the bear. Maybe you want to light up a paw print. You'll have to think about what color LED you want to use and what part you're going to light up. It's a great plan because there's no right answer or wrong answer when we get to the way that we decorate.
Oh, I might.
All right, so we are going to get started on wiring our circuit up. The first step is going to be to lay down the copper tape on these two lines. So we usually do this yellow line first and then the orange line. And if you happen to be joining us today and it's your first time doing paper circuits and maybe you were shy about a shout out, I want to show you something really important with this copper tape. So you have to get it started and you got to like sort of push your fingernail underneath the copper tape, between the copper tape and the paper. And that will get it so that you'll get the copper tape and the back will look copper colored. So Georgia has had some experience where she accidentally splits the paper and then you have sort of a paper backing still on the back. And you could either smush that little bit of paper off or you could rip it and start again. Those are two options. But once you do this, what do we do, Georgia? What's next?
We don't peel it all the way off. We put it on the paper.
Yes.
If you peel it all the way off, it gets really coily. And then it's hard to work with.
So Georgia knows from experience, normally we peel it and we'll stick it straight to our paper and we'll start going down and pressing it down on our paper. Because if we peel it all the way off like this, it gets really curly and it's not very usable. So if you are new to paper circuits, that is one of the biggest tools that we can use, which is not peeling it all the way off. All right, so you want to get it started, and then you're going to start putting it down. So you can stick it on to our template, and here we want to go into this gray circle, and not a little into the gray circle. It goes really far in. You don't really want to go out of the gray circle, but you want to be in that circle. All right, so again, you don't want to stop your tape like right there. You want to be all the way in that circle. And you're going to peel it. As I peel the paper backing, I press it down. Now we're at a turn. All right, and you might think, I'll just rip it and I'll put some more copper tape down. And what that does for our electrons is it creates two highways, and one highway is above the other highway. There's a whole bunch of glue in between, and the cars can't get from one highway to the other. We need to make an on-ramp, okay? And that on-ramp has to be with the same piece of tape. It has to have one smooth roadway. So what we would do in that case is we will pull out some extra, and then I like to just sort of get it to bend in the direction I want, and then you just press it down. Now you don't have to press it down right next to that bend, and in fact I think it's a lot easier if you don't. But you see how I have this big loop? That's great. That means it'll fold really nicely, and what I can do now is I can just press down on that and it folds in for us. All right, and I'm going to now put this all the way down here. And at the end, I can put my fingernail down and I can rip that copper tape off really easily. All right, and I'm gonna just press down like that, just like that. And now I just have to do this orange one. All right. And if you're following along and you have a problem, you can always type it into the chat with Evan and we can go over that part. Or you can see us in Zoom, because we have our Zoom classroom that lets us see you guys and troubleshoot your circuits. And that's at patreon.com/rosieresearch. All right, here we're gonna stick it in again. Notice the template has it well inside this green circle. We don't wanna go out of the green circle, and we don't wanna stop it just in the green circle. We need it to be in just like that template. So you'll start it here, and you'll press it down, and I peel and stick, just like that. All right, and then I'm going to rip it off, just like that, and press this all down. All right, I like to press it down with just my thumbnail, which I think is nice. And now we're ready to put our battery in. All right, so our battery goes on top of the green circle so that we can still see the letters. All right, so the top of the battery is this part that says the plus sign. I want to see the plus sign. So if I flip it over like this, oops. If I flip it over like this, I see a bunch of polka dots. I don't see letters. This is my battery being in backwards. So I want to flip it over so I can see the letters, plus side up. And I'm going to tape this in just a second. First, I want to test that my battery and my LED work. All right, I think I'm going to use a red LED today because I kind of really want to do lava with my LED. I think that would be cool for the lava bear. There's only 4 ways you can put an LED onto a battery. 2 are on the front, and that doesn't give me a highway to be able to go from one side of the battery to the other. All right, which is what I need for a circuit. It's like a circle. 2 could be on the back, but again, that doesn't make a circle. So I could have the LED put 1 leg on the top and 1 leg on the bottom. And this is a circle. It goes from the top in through the LED into the bottom, but it doesn't work. And that's because the way that these LEDs light up is they actually go down these fun little slides into a tunnel, and they say yippee as they light up and give off light. But electrons are perfect rule followers. They remember that their mamas always told them, don't climb up the slide. So they will never climb up that slide. So right now our slide is backwards, and you have a whole bunch of electrons that are just staring at the bottom of the slide being like, can't really do much because mama told me not to go up the slide. If we flip our LED around and we put the slide so that they're now at the top of the slide, they can all go down the slide, have fun as they go in the tunnel, and light up, and your LED works. I always like to check that my battery and my LED work together every time before I do a project. All right, that's really important. If you have a project that has multiple LEDs, which we'll have later, you want to try multiple LEDs with your battery to make sure it can power it. But now I know my battery is good and my LED is good, which always helps with troubleshooting later. So I'm ready to tape my battery in. All right, so I'm going to use my non-conductive tape. We're actually totally done with our conductive copper tapes. I'm going to use my non-conductive tape, and I'm going to tape this in. Now I could tape it in straight over the top like this, but then this piece of wire, which is going to be my switch to make the circle of the circuit, can't touch the top. And so I basically have it so that I can never finish that circuit, and that's not what I want. So what we're going to do instead is we are going to make sure we don't cover the whole top of our battery with that tape. So I'm going to cut my tape a little more thin. Please hold, Georgia. And I am going to tape on the edge of that battery. This can feel really tricky if you're using scotch tape because scotch tape is clear and you might put it straight over the top and it still looks like you can see the metal surface. So that's something to be thoughtful of. And if you really want it to be extra secure, you can put a little bit on the other side of the battery too. But notice how much silver of the battery I can still see. That's really important. I need this guy to make contact with the metal, not with the tape. All right, so we want to leave a big part of that open. And then, last but certainly not least, is our LED. So our LED is going to go through this little hole. And you'll notice on your template, it tells you the long leg goes here and the short leg goes here. So if we look at our LEDs, there is one that has a slightly longer leg and one that has a slightly shorter leg. That tells us which direction the slide is going. So we want to make sure that the short leg goes on this line that says short leg, and the long leg goes on this line over here that says long leg. So I'm going to put my LED through the hole, and I'm going to bend those legs. They bend really easily. I'm going to bend the legs so that they go along the copper tape. All right, and you want to make sure it's in the way you want it, and then from here, we can tape these legs down. All right, please make sure that when you tape them down, that when we tape them down, they're not taped onto paper. They need to be taped over the top of that copper tape. All right.
Look, I did it.
Ooh, Georgia, you got yours working? Oh, Georgia's working. That's what happens when you keep working on your projects, my friends. It might be your first one, so it'll feel really hard, but as you keep going, you do more and more videos with us, you'll become a professional paper circuit maker. All right, I'm gonna use my non-conductive tape and put it straight across. I can get both legs in one, and then I'm gonna take it off so I can press really good. And again, we want to make sure that these metal legs from the LED are touching that copper tape. Super important piece. In fact, this short leg on this side is on the copper tape, but it makes me a little nervous. It's almost coming off. So what I'd like to do is I'm gonna just peel up a little piece of this tape, and I'm just gonna bend it a little bit more in, because I don't like that it was on the edge, and then I can just, again, press down really hard on these legs. If you find that your legs keep popping up, like your tape's not holding it, I can show you a trick for that using aluminum foil. So if you find that no matter what you do, your legs keep popping up, like the tape is not strong enough to hold them down the way you want, what you can do, peel the tape off of one little side so you have a leg exposed, and you take a little piece of foil. All right, you can fold this foil up. Doesn't have to be super thick. You can even make it really thin, just like that, or it could be thick, it doesn't matter. And you're gonna put it right over the top of that leg, just like that, and then you're going to press your tape down again. And that will give it like a little conductive sandwich, so the leg is fused a lot better with that copper tape. All right, so that's one way if you find that you are having trouble with your LED legs. And now it's the moment of truth. I'm gonna take off this tape that I had for Curious George. And when I close this, just like that, I'm gonna close it, this piece here of copper tape is gonna hit the top of the battery. So I'm gonna have a wire that goes from the bottom of the battery up, in through my LED, down here, and this will go into the top of the battery, and I have a circle or a circuit, and my LED should light up. So I'm gonna close this. Now when I just close it, you'll notice it doesn't light up. I need to press on the battery. That's actually our switch. It's a pressure switch. And when I press on that battery, my LED lights up, which is perfect. I can now start taping all of this stuff in place. All right. I would strongly suggest using clear tape as you tape your items in place, because then you won't see your tape. And it just looks really nice at the end. So for example, on my Sasquatch, you can't see bits of tape that sort of come over all the edges. But I'm gonna do mine in this masking tape so you guys can see really easily where I'm putting my tape and how I'm doing that. All right, so the first thing is I take a nice piece of tape, it's kind of long, and I'm going to tape down this part right here. All right, so I'm gonna fold it up, and then I'm just gonna add a piece of tape. And I think my pants were so wide that I can't do them both, so I'm gonna put 2 pieces of tape. So this guy's gonna come down like this as a piece of tape. And then I'm also gonna tape this part right there. All right, and that's my folder piece. So I'm gonna tape these 2 like that. So now my folder is taped down. This part's taped down. I wanna keep folding it to make sure that I press on these things. You can keep pressing over the battery to make sure that nothing is happening there. And then I want to also tape sort of along all of these edges that are flaying out, okay? You don't want to tape super tight right by the battery. It might make it so it's always on. But the way that I tape around these edges is I take a piece of tape.
I'm not even taping it. Look.
Ooh, Georgia's gluing hers. And that is totally an option if you have a hot glue gun. That's a great option. All right, so here I'm going to take my piece of tape so I can tape these together. And again, clear tape is best. I'm going to put half of the tape on the back side. It's sticky on the front. And then I'm just going to fold that over, and it will make it, especially if you have clear tape, it'll make it so you can't really see it. And it creates like as one thick piece of paper. And of course, then we want to do right down here as well. So you would do the same thing. So you get a piece of tape, and you put half on one side. I stick half of it to the inside, like that. And then I just roll it over to close that edge. All right, and you don't want to close it too tightly because then this will be always on. All right, and I can keep testing it. You can see that it's starting to really look like a little book cover. The only one we have left is this edge right here. So we'll take another piece of tape and we'll do the same thing to that edge. So again, half of it is half on one side. So I got half the tape on one side, and then it's going to just roll over that edge to keep everything nice and tight. All right, and then you could take some paper and cut some paper up and tape it together to create a little storybook. And your storybook can sit right in your little pocket. And you can write us a story. And from here, we just need to add on the awesome extras, all right? So I know I am going to cut out the volcano because I want that volcano to light up. And I'm probably gonna cut around my little lava bear, I think, so that I could, but maybe I'll put the lava bear picture on the inside and I'll put the bear claw on the outside because I kind of like what Georgia did with the bear claw on the outside. I'm a big fan of that.
It's red, yeah.
Yeah, and Georgia is telling me hers doesn't work. So let's take a look at what we can do if it stops working. So hers was working. Nothing has really changed between when it was working and now, except for she's adding some stuff. So what I would do is I would press around the legs of those LEDs, and that will make it light up. So whatever she was doing as she was decorating and gluing, it just pressed on the LED legs just a little bit too much and brought them up. So all she has to do is find those LED legs, press on them, and then it will light up for her. All right, so that's a great way to fix it. If it was working and it stops working, often it's those LED legs sort of popping up off of that copper tape. And what you can do if you find it's a really big problem all the time, add that aluminum foil on top. So you have copper tape, LED leg, and aluminum foil, and it's a big sandwich that you tape down, and that can really help with those things.
I want to show you guys something that I made.
Georgia would like to show us something.
Tape wouldn't work like this, but I made it so this is a slit.
Ooh, this is a cool idea. Georgia has a slit, a secret slit right here. So she glued hers down on one side, and then she kept this part open. So she could write a story for here, and then she could put a secret clue in there. That would be really cool. I like that idea. All right, so now that you guys know how to make this, all that's left is to decorate it, which we will go into our Zoom room to do. So if you are a patron of ours, you already have all of the Zoom room information. If you're not, you should totally come join us. We are doing so many fun activities. We are at patreon.com/rosieresearch, and a week, it's like pay what you want. So you could do it as low as $1, $4 a month, which is like your one latte for the entire month you give up, and you have science every weekday. And we are live every weekday right now. We might take a little break before we start up in September for school again, but we will be back for distance learning to help support you guys. So if you want to come 1 day a week, awesome. If you want to come 5 days a week, amazing. But we'll be here live to support you guys, and it gets you into our Zoom room where we hang out. Like, we have half an hour right now to go hang out and do art together. Sometimes we look at puppies together, we read stories together, we do talent shows on Friday. It's epic and amazing, and you should join our community. So if you would like to do that, you are more than welcome to. It is at patreon.com/rosieresearch, and we will say goodbye to our YouTube friends and hello to our Zoom friends. Have a good one, friends.